So how are you feeling at the moment with everything that you've been through over the last few weeks?
Me personally, it's been very difficult, very mentally and physically draining. Also working at the same time, getting time off work, it's been challenging.
And what has been the most difficult part of this trial for you?
Previously, we didn't know our other child was involved with the attempted murder. We knew about baby M, what happened on the 9th of April 2016. And until then we were very, very happy. And we were celebrating the second day of our children. Our family came from London and then they said, wow, congratulations, you've become the mother of 2 children. I was very happy. We were over the moon. Then suddenly at 4 o'clock, the nurse came and said, you need to come downstairs. I was very sore. And I thought, that morning I was giggling with my kids and they were very, very happy in their cots. Then suddenly this happened.
So tell me about that day. So you have 2 healthy boys?
Yes, 2 healthy boys.
So how did you feel when you knew you had 2 healthy boys?
Oh, we were ecstatic. First-time parents. We were happy and knew everything was as good as it could have been at that time.
And then just tell me when you suddenly realised things were going to go wrong.
Well, on the Saturday, the 9th of April, we'd come down with my parents to see the boys. Everything was going well. We held the boys. We went back upstairs because my wife was in the ward upstairs, and then within 10, 15 minutes, a nurse is coming charging upstairs saying, you need to come back down. And I was there first because my wife was still in bed. I was the first one into the unit at that time. The image that I saw was just horrendous. That image I'll never forget because it's on the brain.
He was just crying. And I said, oh my God, what happened? And the doctor was giving compressions to baby M. One of the nurses, Mary Griffith, said to me, I've not done anything. And Lucy was behind her. And I was just praying to God saying, what has happened to my child? I've not done anything wrong in my life to anybody, so why do I have to suffer? And then after 30 minutes, he recovered.
So just take me back to that image. What did you see when you went down and you saw your son?
When I went down, I saw doctors around the trolley and they're just pumping his heart like a rag doll, really. He was just like a doll and they were just going like that, to the chest.
How did you feel at that point?
I was just full of the tears. I didn't know what to think. We're first-time parents. We didn't know what was going on.
And you're saying at that point, another nurse, Mary Griffiths, was telling you she had not done anything wrong, but you said that you saw Lucy Letby. What did you see of Lucy Letby at that point?
She was just standing like that.
How was she standing?
Very calm and cool. She was standing calm and cool, and what I can remember was Mary Griffith's face. She was saying, I've not done anything, but at that time I didn't know her name, but when I saw her in court I knew her name, and I told the police, she's the nurse who said to me, I've not done anything. And Lucy was standing behind Mary Griffiths, and Mary Griffiths was very worried and panicked.
Did you suspect Lucy Letby at any point in that time?
No, not at that time.
We didn't know anything, even afterwards, until the police came knocking.
She was very cool, calm, calculated, and a criminal-minded lady, but we didn't notice anything at the time.
So after your first boy, your oldest boy, collapsed, what happened when nurses and doctors came in to help him and you suddenly realised, OK, he's become more stable? What happened? You saw him looking like a rag doll. You saw doctors working on him?
Yes, they were prescribing medication and they were ready to give up. Dr. Jayaram was ready to give up after 30 minutes and then all of a sudden baby M just came back to life out of nowhere. And by the grace of God, he's okay today. The doctors told us that kind of thing happens in premature babies because they're premature, and at that time we believed what the doctors were telling us because we didn't know any different.
So explain to me about what happened when you heard about that.
Well, when we heard about baby L's issue, we were shocked because the hospital had not told us.
Yes, exactly. When the police came to our house and told us, your second child is involved with Lucy, we were shocked and we said we didn't know about baby L. Why had they not told us about baby L? We did know about baby M, but they hadn't told us about baby L.
So they didn't tell you that he had gone into any difficulty at all?
No, not the insulin and all the blood sugars and all that. We didn't know anything about that until the police came.
Every day we rang in the morning and we asked, how are our boys? And they said, actually, they're doing very well, actually. And then when my husband went to work, he would ring the hospital and ask, how are our boys? And he would be told that they're doing very well. They're doing very good every single day. My husband rang every day, evening and morning. How are my boys doing? And they said, very well, but they didn't describe anything happening to baby Elle.
And how did you feel when you heard that?
We just couldn't believe it because we knew about baby M and we accepted that bit, but we didn't know what baby Elle had gone through the night before. It was just unbelievable. We couldn't believe it.
And what we had heard in court up until 9 o'clock, Mary Griffith and Lucy were there at night time with baby Elle. And as soon as Mary Griffith left at 9:30, and she got the chance to attack baby Elle and administer insulin to baby Elle. Very high level of insulin, poisonous insulin.
How did you feel when you heard, I imagine in court for the first time, Lucy Letby denying that she has poisoned your baby?
It's all very difficult. We can't imagine at that time.
How did you feel that she said he had been poisoned with insulin, but it just wasn't her?
It was either her or somebody else. There was only 2 people there, and she's the only one is in the dock for it. And I'm sure the police have investigated the other nurse who was on the shift. So it's one or the other, and I don't think it's the wrong nurse.
How does it feel to hear her deny that?
On her second interview with the police on 12th of June 2019, she accepted that someone has given insulin to baby Elle, and it's a very high volume of insulin, so she must be aware. Only she and Mary Griffith were in the room.
So just talk to me a little bit about Lucy Letby. How do you feel that she wasn't even rostered to work on the 9th of April, but she worked because of staffing issues on the unit?
She always liked extra time. She asked us to change a nappy, and we'd said to her, oh, we're very scared about changing nappies because we were first-time parents. So can you show us how to change a nappy because my kids are very small and tiny? And at the time, her body language and her behaviour totally changed. I asked her, Lucy, do you work all day and night time? And she said, yes, I'm working extra time.
So you spoke to her quite a lot then?
And whenever I met my boys and she took a blood sample and put the injection on the TPN bag, and at that time I thought she was doing very well for my kids, but at the time I didn't have any idea. I told my husband that she took the blood from baby Elle's foot many times.
So when was this? When were you having that conversation with her?
After the incident happened. I think she was unsuccessful with killing my kids. That's why she was very annoyed with us. She thought that I couldn't kill your baby.
So you're saying that she seemed more aggressive after they had recovered, and do you think that's because she was frustrated?
Yes.
She wasn't successful in murdering?
And then in June, my kids were discharged. She asked another doctor, do I have to be worried about what Dr. Gibbs has said? That means she was now suspecting about herself that she did all the things.
How do you feel that before your boys were attacked, there had been multiple internal reviews at the hospital, that for months consultants had been raising their concerns about Lucy Letby, but she was still allowed to work on the unit, and that she'd been moved off night shifts because there had been so many concerns about her? She gets moved onto day shifts and she attacks your boys?
Yeah. Whenever the deaths of the babies was happening and I was in the hospital, and then many of the parents said, today this baby died, today this baby died. And I thought, oh my God, so many babies had died. And then the parents said, maybe it's because they're premature babies. And I thought, oh my God, my boys are also premature and 7 weeks early. And I thought, oh my God. But I said to them, my boys are very healthy, because when they were born, the doctor said, your boys are very healthy. Dr. Gibbs also said to me, don't worry, your boys are very healthy. And then the parents are discussing, this baby died, this girl died, this boy died. Oh my God. It gave me such a headache. I didn't want to go to the hospital. I just want to ring and see how they were doing. But my husband said it's better if we just go to the hospital and see what has happened to our kids.
Do you think the hospital should have done more to get Lucy Letby off the unit?
Yes. Yes, definitely.
Definitely.
They had the chances to do that before 2016. They could have done in 2015 when Dr. Jayaram brought it up with the head of nursing.
Why did they wait until 2016? As soon as 2 or 3 babies died, why wait until 17 babies? I'll blame the hospital as well.
Do you think that some babies could have survived?
I think so, yeah. If they'd acted upon the initial suspicions, then they definitely could have stopped any more babies being attacked.
What impact do you think it could have had on the unit for families like yourselves and what you've gone through? Hospital bosses had listened.
It would have prevented multiple deaths, really. It didn't have to be that many. It could have been a couple, maybe. The investigations could have started and she would have been off the unit and they would have been able to investigate properly.
And she was always lying and said the babies have infections, and the experts say it's not about the infection. Infection is not the cause of death, it's the unnatural cause.
When you have heard Lucy Letby talk in court time and time again, denying she harmed any babies,
I feel very sick of her. Oh my God, I go home with a headache. I have to take paracetamol every day when I go home just because I have to listen to her lie and lie and lie. And I say now, enough. Don't tell lies, please. When you've sat there in the dock and taken the oath, I think just please say everything that's right and true. So why are you telling lies? You are lying to yourself and to your religion also. Why?
what has Lucy Letby taken from your family?
Everything. She took everything. Our joy, happiness.
I'm not the same person I was before. And in the run-up to the case, I'd suffered a seizure. Before October, I suffered a seizure. It's just constant. I'm a changed person.
In what way? The seizures are triggered by anxiety?
Yeah, anxiety, stress. And obviously the doctors did all the tests and everything, but they didn't find anything.
What has life been like for the last 7 years for your family?
It's been hell, to be honest.
Very, very horrendous.
What has it meant for you to know that Lucy Letby has been able to work on a unit for years with people knowing they were concerned about her and knowing what it's done to your family and to so many other families? How does it feel to know that that has happened and been allowed to happen?
It's hard to put into words just how it could have gone on so long, why it went on so long. These are the answers we need. But that's a different part of the investigation. We have to wait for the hospital to answer those questions, but it could have been stopped. That's the fact. It could have been stopped by the head of nursing.
Do you think there should be an inquiry into whistleblowing at the hospital?
Yes, definitely. Something needs to be done there. The head of nursing needs to be accountable. She refused to take Lucy Letby off the unit. She refused to take Lucy Letby out of the unit. She didn't listen to the doctor, and things just carried on. She has to take the responsibility. She made that decision. She could have stopped this long before.
What do you think would have happened if she had taken it seriously?
Well, I think she could have taken her off the unit and put her wherever in another clerical role or whatever, while they investigated fully before even thinking of bringing her back to the unit.
Because she created the impression to the doctors, to the staff and everyone that I'm a very good nurse, I'm doing very well. She created that impression and pressured the doctors and everyone. That's why no one suspected her.
When we're talking about how families have been affected, how your family has been affected, and what life has been like, what has life been like day to day? Has she caused any long, life-changing injuries to your sons?
As far as we know, baby M did have a scan and the doctors did say that one part of his brain is damaged permanently. So he may deviate from his peers and stuff. At the moment, if you look at him, you wouldn't think any differently, just like a normal child. So it's something we'll just have to keep monitoring over the years as the years progress.
Is that something you're worrying about every day?
Yeah.
Yes. Baby L also, whenever he sleeps at night time, his head is totally wet.
So he experiences challenges every day?
Every day.
In what way?
He sweats every night. He says, Mummy, it's so sweaty, my head, whenever I sleep at night time. And I said, come on and sit near the fan. So he sits near the fan to dry his hair every day.
And have you been to doctors now that you know what's happened to him?
Yes, I took him to the GP and then the GP is saying it's normal, just keep an eye on them.
It's so shocking to hear that you weren't told that he had deteriorated on the unit. So for years, you didn't know that he may have had symptoms or signs of an illness or something that could have...
They haven't said anything to us. every time we rang them and they didn't say anything to us.
They never mentioned baby L. We didn't even know until the police came and told us about the ratio between C-peptide and insulin. Otherwise, we would never have known.
Who do you blame for that?
I blame the doctors and the hospital.
The hospital. But then again, it wasn't the Liverpool hospital. They actually rang the results through. The people at Chester are the ones that didn't act upon those results because by the morning he had recovered. So they didn't act upon those results. But they never told us. As a parent, surely you tell us. Whatever happens, even if it's minor or whatever, they need to tell the parents at least. This happened in the night.
How did it feel when throughout the trial we've heard another baby, known in court as baby F or child F, also had been poisoned with insulin in a very similar way that they've described for your son? How did it feel when you heard that?
I couldn't believe it. The similar incident happened a few months prior to that, and fortunately we got a friendship with that family because of similarities and stuff. But unfortunately their son is disabled. So we think we're quite lucky with our child.
How did it feel that 8 months before your son was attacked, another baby was poisoned with insulin and that their blood test at the hospital was missed, that there's been poison involved and that they missed that his C-peptide levels and insulin levels were differing, and that if that had been caught, they may have known that there had been a poisoner on the ward?
That's hard on that take, really. And like I say, they should have investigated that one and then it probably would have never got down to us. They may have stopped it by then.
How let down do you feel by the hospital?
Very, very let down. They could have stopped it. They could have done it a lot earlier. And they need to be held accountable as well. Obviously, I know they didn't know there was a poisoner at work, and it's difficult to prove that. But the doctors did speak up. The doctors spoke up in 2015. They should have acted on that.
If you were to describe Lucy Letby, what does she mean to you?
To me, nothing. She means nothing. Just an evil person. There's no way she should have been able to get away with it for so long.
And she already proved with her note. She wrote, "I am evil and did it with a purpose." We see through her note. The green note, the yellow note. So she proved her note already. We saw it. She said, "I'm evil."
And we know how this has impacted you both. But for you as a mother and as a parent, what's life been like for you for the last 7 years?
It's terrible for me to handle my kids, my job. I have to look after my family. I have to look after my kids, and I have to do homework, and everything it's very distracting to me as well, and having to go to court, and then I have to look after my kids, drop off my kids, pick up my kids. It's very disrupting to my life. I'm worried about my husband. He's already had one seizure, and every day I'm thinking about Lucy Letby, everywhere we go to court, and she comes onto the witness box and tells lies. It was very, very hard.
When you say you feel like a completely different person, in what way?
I was happy-go-lucky, go with the flow, always smiling. But now I've become reserved, so like in the shell kind of thing. And there's no doubt it's going to affect me for the rest of my life. There's no way you can get away from it. Whatever the verdict comes, it's going to always be there in the back of your mind. It's always going to be there in the back of your mind.
How does Lucy Letby being found guilty provide justice for you? What does it mean for you?
It provides a bit of closure. Not completely, but at least a bit of closure that they got the right person and she's going to be punished for it.
What does it mean for you that she's found guilty?
I'll be very happy. If the punishment is proper and the proper sentence, then I would be very happy.
Is there any sentence that will justify what you've been through and what your sons have been through?
Life sentence. I want a life sentence.
But it's not going to do justice no matter what. She's taken lives. She's tried to take other babies' lives. So whatever sentence she gets is not going to be enough. It will be justice, but it won't be enough, whatever the sentence comes. We hope it will be a whole life order, but we'll have to wait and see.
I'm hoping she will never be released. If she's found guilty, then I hope she's never released.
You never want her to be released from prison?
Otherwise, she's a danger to everyone.